7:35. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. Roll call.
Patterson?
Yeah.
Henderson here. Conan absent. Sledge?
Here.
Galecki?
Here. Okay, so approval of agenda. So I have something to add, so I was just going to do it under chair comment, but I think we need to act on it, so I'm going to put, I'd like to put the Duncan property in,
After the minutes?
yeah, after the minutes. Yep.
Okay. What's your time on the public hearing?
Anytime after
7:45.
7:45.
45 right there. Yeah, that's fine. What do we want to call the topic?
Duncan properties.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Move to approve the agenda as amended to add Duncan properties between approval of meeting minutes and the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes? So,
Motion to approve minutes as presented.
good job.
Oh, second. That's all.
Better wait for Dave.
Steve, come on over here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay, so, when we approved, the Duncan property at the last meeting, we did it, with conditions. So, the condition number 3, the proof of recorded easement, utility easement with CSB, or Capex State Bank. As I know, that's been done, but I'd like to change that so that's not a requirement, just a request. So then the next thing is item 5, the bioswale. So it reads, provide drawings for a bioswale to village engineers, once approved, must be implemented. So we've had a problem with too much time spent with the engineer. So it went with the drawing to the from their engineer to the village engineer, and then back and forth and back and forth. So the last drawing, have you guys seen the last drawing? Okay, so here's the last one. Now this isn't from the architect, this is from the engineer. So the ADA parking area is still in the wrong spot, but the architect had it in the right spot. So at the bottom of the page is right in front of the parking area going to the west. He's indicated a bioswale. So then somewhere, I don't know. So, but that didn't pass muster. So it needs to be bigger. So I had a conversation with Doug Skyless from Rowe. I had the similar conversation with Mr. Duncan and Mr. Lemieux. So we've decided that we're gonna circumvent it going to the engineers and let it happen through the construction process with Mr. Lemieux and I kind of overseeing what we want. So that the drainage goes from the parking lot to the existing ditch.
So they're gonna expand it into the right of way.
What's that?
They're gonna expand it into the right of way.
We're gonna expand it out further, correct. So we're gonna make that bioswale much bigger than what it is.
And I understand that the first point, it kept it within the property line, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And without having to authorize it to go into the right of way.
So then this way we can kind of kill two birds with one stone, have them retain more of the property. The line going from the driveway will now go into that. It's not actually going to be a bioswale, but something similar to that, but on a larger scale, and then that would overflow into the ditch. So we would have some place of the intermediary for that to go and keep some of the water on site. So Doug Skyless from Rowe thought that was a good idea, and so it's up to you guys. Hopefully you agree.
Okay. And the proposal then is to change this from you're gonna just change the condition, or you wanna remove the condition?
So we're gonna change the condition so that we're kind of doing it in-house.
Yeah.
And the other condition we're changing is the easement to Capex Bank. So that's
Right.
no longer a requirement, just a request.
All right, so what's our motion then? How do we word that first?
I-
Just the
Motion
final
to
spec.
amend, conditional approval for Duncan property.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have to specify what those amendments are?
I would
Yeah.
So we want, and.
to amend it by changing number 3 to request the easement of CSB,
Yeah.
and number 5 to be done.
I don't know how to handle it, we say you gotta handle it in-house, but how does that fit into a motion?
I don't know. Any of you guys got
I'm
an
not a
idea?
wordsmith it,
Help us out with wording?
Dennis help us.
Well, you could specify building inspector and, plan commission, chair,
Final
To
approval,
oversee.
final approval,
Yeah, oh, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
swale or detention pond, whatever you wanna call that,
Yeah.
bioswale.
now is there a drain in that that's choked down, that's going out, or it's just holding the water?
No, there'll be a drain.
Okay,
So it'll be, so what happens, the way it is now, they built this bioswale and it's in the drawing, but the water from the parking lot goes directly to the ditch.
okay,
So, and the bioswale is very small. So what we're proposing is to make the bioswale bigger, but not really a bioswale, it's more just kind of a depression area for the water to go, but then the water's gonna go from the parking lot into that, and when that overflows, then it will go into the ditch.
okay. There's
So
not a
it's
drain at the
storage.
bottom of it that's choked down to regulate the water heading out to the
No,
ditch?
because it's all gonna be, it's just gonna be grass, it's not
Oh,
gonna be,
okay.
it's not
It's just-
asphalt or anything, it's.
However,
it
it
just,
seeps into the ground.
It's exactly.
correct,
Okay.
yes, yeah,
You wanna see,
yeah, yeah.
overwhelm your storm drains.
yeah. So how about, final approval, Dennis, do you want it just by building inspector, or do you want it building inspector and planning chair, how do you want it to work?
That's fine, both is fine.
Both of us,
Yeah.
okay, that just kinda takes you off the hook a little bit, okay? That?
Is there a certain volume that you have to hold then? I mean, did they say a certain volume of water you have to hold, or not?
No,
Okay, I'm surprised the engineer didn't have something written down to kinda,
well, if you would have been to many meetings, it took us a long time to get to this point.
okay.
Okay.
Alright.
Motion to amend conditional approval for Duncan properties by making number 3 a request, not a requirement, and changing number 5 to final approval by building official Dennis Lemieux and planning chair Ben DeLucky.
All right, so moved.
Dennis? Okay. All right, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, cool, okay. Wow, 7:45. Okay, so, 7:45, what do you wanna do with these drawings? You wanna keep these?
Yes.
Okay, so you want all 3 copies?
That'd be
And
great.
then dispose of those, after this
Okay, so we're going to enter into a public hearing. So we need a motion to enter into the public hearing.
Okay, motion to open the public hearing at 7:46 PM.
For the SAO, SLAL,
A.L.
yeah,
year.
Thanks.
Grossman Clinic.
yeah, okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. So, at present, we're opening, the meeting to public comments about the, Kraus Veterinary Clinic expansion. So anybody from the audience like to say something?
I have a concern about water drainage.
Okay, could you, state your name for the record, sir?
John Bean,
Uh-huh.
I own the property directly south of the property to be worked on.
Okay. So, okay, so south of the clinic, so where, would you mind coming forward?
So you usually say that on the.
Did you sign in on the sign-in sheet, sir?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so here's Fulton Street, where's your property?
Where's Fulton?
Right here. Mhm.
Is this the vet then? Is that the vet's,
The driveway, yep. So this is the back of of the other properties. So none of this is changing, none of this is changing.
Understood.
So how deep is your property?
It goes to, is this the existing?
No,
vet?
no, the
That's
existing is right here.
Okay, so my property would probably be right about there.
So not, your property's not even affected by this.
Yeah,
It's right
yeah,
next door.
it's, yeah, his,
No, see,
his comes right here.
oh, it is, okay, so
Yeah.
you're here, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I say,
they're all
yeah,
the way back
He's
there.
right here.
So his building is back here.
Mhm.
There's the one.
But the
See
existing
this
parking
elevation?
lot,
See that elevation right there?
Mm-hmm.
There's an elevation right there?
the building elevation though. And what, this is 736 here, and
Yeah,
it's
see,
gonna run,
this is lower than this,
Okay.
we're gonna have it run
and there's an
out
arrow
that
going this
way.
way.
And then I was also gonna have them put, you know, maybe French drain or something in next to, right on this side of the
And,
property.
and the builder did talk to me about, something about this, so he said, if there was already concern, and they were gonna do something, he wasn't quite sure, but they were gonna make certain, even if it took, some type of a drainage line or something, to keep the water off your property. So that's,
It's been- yeah.
yeah, that's, yeah,
It's been-
so that was done, I mean, that conversation was a month ago.
Now with me though.
No, with the builder.
Okay.
So about you,
Right.
about your concerns. So one of the things that we do, so that if you were here just for the other thing that we did with the Duncan thing, that was all about water runoff to the neighbor's property. So it's one of the things that we look at.
Thank you, answered my question.
Well, so is there anything else?
Nope,
That's it?
that was it,
You're satisfied?
so far.
Cool, all right. Okay, any other, public comments?
I think it's a good thing, it's been a business that's been a mainstay here in the village, and it's great that they're going to keep on. So, look forward to the new facility.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of to let everyone know, since if this is a public hearing, Doc Kraus is gonna want to build a new facility. It's directly behind the existing facility. He wants to build a new facility and get that up and running, and after that's running, he wants to tear down the old facility, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so and it's basically gonna be about the same size, but the floor plan is gonna be much improved. So, and we're all looking forward to that, so any more comments from the public? If not, we'll exit the public hearing. Motion to,
Motion to close the public hearing at 7:49 PM.
okay, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
okay, all right, okay, so.
Alright, so now you got the special approval.
Well, technically now you do have to provide him before you do the site plan, yes.
Yeah.
What now?
You have to
You need the
grant them-
SALU
You
approval.
have to approve.
Oh, okay, oh, yeah, okay, so, okay, yes, so, thanks. Where's my, agenda thing?
It wasn't on there, but that's okay. How'd you do it? Your agenda's right from
Oh, that's why I can't see it. Okay, so we have to grant the special approval land use, so, that being, the clinic, as we all know, is existing and it's been there for a long time. But to build a new clinic, zoning is, a little more stringent than what it used to be. I don't know if stringent's the word, it's just, there's a few more rules, as we know. And it's a residential area, and we have to grant a special approval land use for a commercial operation in a residential area. So, that can be done, and it's in the ordinance that it's allowed, it just has to go through, this process. So, is there any discussion on the special approval? So in the book, it shows that it's not just, we can't just grant the usage, but we have to grant the special approval first.
And then the recommendation of the planner is consistent with what we talked about previously. That
Yep.
Basically the other third one's always there, is your get site plan approval, but
Yeah.
hours of operation and not being concurrent use of two buildings, that's fine. I don't have any issues with that. And I agree with the fact too, no further non-conformance, traffic impacts, all the other things. I can't remember his name, Brian, did a nice job with his review.
Yeah, and there was less, it reduced the nonconformity. So it actually, the building now is situated further away from the residence, so that gives more of a buffer. So if you could, Doc, are you gonna change your hours of operation at all?
I don't believe so.
I'm gonna change mine, I'm gonna work less. Okay, so everybody kind of read the things from Roe and from McKenna?
Yeah.
Okay,
The only with the hour, because they kind of have an issue with the normal hours in there, but again, now, even when it's after hours or the late hours, I still don't see that being a disruption. It's one of those things, it's part of the necessary, if you're gonna work, especially, I'm assuming it's more livestock type related than it would be someone's dog or cat necessarily at 2 o'clock in the morning. If it's not the case, it's great, because I've got one, my maid call in, when my 14-year-old lab has her attack on Sundays.
Small animal emergencies happen.
Okay.
So besides going out on the farm too, I mean, that's part of it too, but.
So, it's not like there's, huge floods or anything like that.
There's
apartments and stuff, so.
Not all, I mean, it's, yeah.
So I say, so I under the basic hours, I think that nobody, we know there's after hours stuff going on. But I don't see it's necessarily a negative, and granted, it's been there for years, so it's not like, John, Republic isn't saying anything either, so.
No issues with the
well, how
plan.
about we grant the special approval land use to concur with current hours of usage?
I think it's fair. I know what the planner's also saying about 2 facilities, but is there stuff that needs to be, as you're winding down one, ramping up the other one though?
Yeah, there'll be.
Equipment or
A little bit of
procedures that
equipment
need to
and
be done?
cages that you move from the old building to the new building.
I mean, I don't know that I call that operating it, but it's simply part of the transition.
I would guess it to not be more than a week where both buildings would be up. As soon as the one's ready to go, I wanna move everything out and get rid of the existing building.
And I would call that operating at that point.
What do you do for heat and air conditioning?
Right now, it's a very small unit that runs it, but the new unit, yeah, I haven't seen it on paper, but it's gonna be zoned, couple areas be zoned, but probably a lot more airflow with removing air from the building than what it currently is.
So where are you gonna put it, Chad?
The unit,
Yeah.
is it on the drawing?
Mechanical.
Rooftop or in the back?
I imagine
No, so it's
it's
leading,
gonna be
it's
drawing.
leading up to your landscape, your screening
No,
offering, or wherever you
it-
put something on the outside.
It's not.
being hit.
Yeah, usually your heat's on the inside, your air conditioning.
Air conditioning on the outside.
Yeah. So, but it's not on the drawing. So, all I would think, so you're not gonna, huh?
I think you can, I mean, but you're moving into the site plan part of it, though, necessarily.
Yeah, that's true, okay.
But I mean, you
Yeah.
think a conditional part of it versus
No.
making it changed? or-
No, and you're right, this is not, so, okay. So, yeah, I was getting ahead of myself. Okay, so the special approval land use, the hours of operation, ingress, egress are kind of the same thing. I'd say motion to approve. Is that concurrent with what you guys?
Motion to approve with hours of operation being consistent with current as well as, let's say the new building, the existing building, primary building proposed to be torn down should not be operating concurrently.
Yeah. Yeah,
Second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, first hurdle. Okay, so now we're going into the approval of the site plan. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So the stuff from, have you guys got a drawing? So the first drawing was, McKenna went off of the first drawing. So their review was July 7th. This drawing is, what was the last drawing?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
you
it
know-
looks like the 18th or something like that.
I only have one
16th,
drawing.
16th.
So I don't know.
Yeah, well, okay, so I got that one, okay.
In the
Oh,
roll letter.
this one's the latest one. Oh, this one's 7/16, okay, there it is. So, most of the stuff that, excuse me, most of the stuff that, McKenna has, cited has been addressed. So, the only thing that, I've talked with, Steve Nickel, the builder from Orchard, and the dumpster enclosure is gonna be the same material as the building. So I don't know why we would need to put plantings
Around it?
around it. If it's the same material as the building, why not let it look like the building? So, is everybody okay with that one? Okay. So,
Oh, I see, okay, the enclosure
Yeah.
has to be buffered from the adjacent residential or whatever.
Yeah. and then, so then we have, there was something with the lighting's been addressed, the poles were too high, now they're shorter. I think they were 20 foot, now there's 15 foot. So the only thing that we would ask is, and it says 250 watt downlight, so you know what kind of lights they are, Chad?
I don't have, there's a photometric drawing that they had put together.
Okay.
That had all that on there.
I don't see that it is.
It's not here, but it's available.
Okay.
But there's no LEDs.
Well, your 250 watts pointing down, my car wash is 250 watts. Or no, my car wash is it's 175, but there's two of them. And they don't go very far, and that's about what, they're not 15 foot, but they're probably about 12 foot. So I don't see, you're actually less than I am, and mine doesn't really go into the road.
There should be no issue.
I think you'd be fine. They're gonna use metal halides?
I don't know if they're using that or if they're gonna use an LED on there.
LEDs, okay, so then the wattage wouldn't be the same, because LEDs don't have wattage, but
Right.
something equivalent to that?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so then we're good. You good, Dennis? Okay,
Yeah, we can
Well,
make sure that they point down,
yeah, the big thing is just down.
don't flow off site.
Yep, yep. Okay, so then, so again, we're gonna kind of say something about the existing building and new building not running concurrently. There was something that, we talked about the driveway maybe being extended. That may happen, but the driveway, the way it's presented, or the parking area, the way it's presented is okay, but it may be extended, correct?
The lawn may be extended, or, I'm sorry, yep. the parking
Not
lot.
the driveway, but the parking area.
Yeah, the parking area.
Yeah. Okay, so, let's see. Hours of operation, really not done. So what is the exterior of the building?
The exterior of the building.
The finished material, what's being.
It's gonna be brick, probably 4 foot up on the front of the building, which would face east, and then the rest of it will be, metal roof, metal side.
So you're gonna put, you've got a walkway going around the north and the south, you're gonna wrap that brick around the walkway a little bit?
Probably just maybe, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how far back, but it'll be partially wrapped around the front, but it's mainly gonna be across the front of it.
So when you, are you guys gonna have more drawings?
More elevations?
Well, not elevations, but drawing on the building?
Yeah, I imagine for, what would you like?
Yeah, but
Well, just
right.
kind of like,
You got
more
the
like an
exterior.
as-built type thing,
Oh.
you know, so, cause this drawing doesn't really even say, or doesn't show what the outside of the building
I
is.
said, what if you just took the exterior elevations and
Yeah.
annotated them with it, this is vinyl siding, this is brick, whatever.
Yeah.
I think the first drawings they gave you had a picture of kind of a full-on structure on the second or third page.
Okay, so the first drawing, yeah, okay.
So basically, you say is that they
Okay,
annotated
all
that
right,
with some of
okay.
those notes.
So is
colors,
this still what
and-
you're gonna do?
Yep, that's the plan.
Okay.
So it's like an American metal roof type structure. I like it because they have a great commercial on TV now. Right?
No, it's orchard construction.
It's
It's homegrown construction is what it is.
They did the same thing with
It had the nicer
ceiling.
Yeah.
Brick.
It'd be a thin brick.
Not going a whole
Oh,
8 mile to find his building.
Okay.
We'll border it.
So, because you guys did the ceiling on your building, didn't you?
No, that was screwed in.
Screwed in, okay.
Okay, so like a facade.
Really light frame.
Yeah, it's.
On a backer, will it be on a plywood back or somewhere, is it really gonna be individual?
It's real, they're bricks cut in half, and then we glued on and then mortared in, so it's a real brick.
Okay, so this drawing does show the brick, but it doesn't show the brick wrap in the corner.
Yeah,
Right.
So,
Probably. Half inch or
I,
something.
you know, I mean, it's not a requirement of the planning commission, but I think your building would look better if it wrapped the corner. So kind of what you're talking about. I know, talking to Steve, that's what he was indicating that was gonna do. So maybe, we request a drawing, to be, how about a set of drawings that are complete? So this one is part, and this one would be part, so give it to us in, so one form, you know, one set of drawings. So part of the thing was the
Is it-
engineer couldn't read elevations, but this drawing the elevations are legible, and, Mr. Skyless said that if the, oh, there's something else. There's a dimension from the building to the bank. So the creek bank, so it's, you've got an area flat that you're building on. So what's the dimension from that, top of the bank to the building? To the south corner of the building and the north corner of the building?
Yeah, you gotta watch for erosion then.
Yeah, so I mean, you've gotta get a soil erosion thing, but, in the final drawing that we put on file, I'd like to have those dimensions in.
Are they looking at 50 feet? I remember that came up.
I scaled it,
Carol
and I can't remember what it was, but it's, I think one's 40 and the other one's 60, but I'm not sure. Let's see here. 1 inch equals 30 feet, so let's do this.
That's a good ballpark, yeah.
Okay, so the north corner of the building is roughly 25, but if you could do that, that would be appreciated. And roughly 40 on the south. So we can't give you approvals as far as soil erosion or DEQ or Macomb County drainage stuff, so that would all be over and above us.
Neither engineer nor McKenna commented on that though, did they?
No.
Which is weird,
Yeah.
because I thought they would have done that. I was like, I said, the only one I remember us going through that was with Carolyn.
Yeah.
But Dan, because that, after they started to do your road, and eventually you'd have no back parking lot there, but that came from them.
So, and then you have some trees in here.
Let's see, is there a landscaping plan in there, basically?
No, that's what I'm looking for.
Was it one of the old ones?
Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's drawn in that's existing, that they're keeping, which is pretty cool. That you're not just going in and dozing a site and you're working around the existing trees. So is there anything that you're adding?
As far
I
as,
see one's existing, these are existing. The stuff on the south side adjacent to Mr.
Bean, yeah.
What
Mr.
was your
Bean.
name again, sir?
John Bean,
John Bean, according, next to Mr. Bean's property.
Yeah, those are trees to be planted or, I don't know, arborvitae or something.
Okay,
That's a natural
so you got a natural barrier.
between the parking lot, you know.
Well, when you do your drawing, would you kind of list, would you list those?
Yep.
So then these are
And
existing.
you're trying to see, identify between existing and also new. What is it, what's new? If this is existing and these are new, what is the new?
Yeah, I kind of think there's some other ones here that, oh, this one's actually, oh, that's gray asphalt. Okay. You're gonna have gray asphalt? Oh, so one thing I'd like to comment on is your gravel driveway. So, it used to be that everything had to be paved. But a few years ago, Macomb County sent us a communique, and it requested that we think about allowing gravel to be in lightly used areas and areas that we're basically not downtown. So the use of your gravel driveway is actually what we would prefer. So, thanks. So the gravel driveway reduces water runoff, which is today with all the concrete, asphalt, and roofing is a consideration. So by using gravel, you reduce that water runoff. Well, Steve, you weren't planning when we did that, were you? Yeah. Okay, so that's McKenna. And
And you cover Rome, the same one,
yeah, pretty much.
effectively, except for, is it elevation?
Oh.
grade,
So there's no wetlands on site, so that you just, so on that drawing, we'll give you a copy of this one, Chad. So the first one you guys addressed real good, so this was, and I'm amazed. I gotta compliment you guys because the review came out, I think on a Thursday or Friday, and you guys already had the stuff addressed by Monday. I mean, it's great to work with somebody that is on the ball and, you know, wanting to move forward and comply. So it's not like we were looking for the world, but it's nice to work with somebody that, you know, works with us. So thanks.
Thank you.
Well, so there's also the request for the floodplain. So I know there's not, so I'd like that to be on the, we'd like that to be on the drawing too. And then the stuff where Mr. Beam's concerned, whatever you're gonna do for that water, I don't know, water capture or water diversion to keep it off his property, if you'd indicate that on the drawing, what was done to do that, then we'll be on record and everybody will be happy. So,
so the dumpster one was moving.
okay.
So they're just still,
So, but we do
are they
have-
good with the are they good with the setback from the dumpster, not just the screen, but the fact that it says it's moving?
Yeah, it said it needed to be moved, and they did move it.
Okay.
So, but what I brought up was the making it not necessary that they put
Yeah,
plantings
screen.
around the dumpster
Additional screen.
when the dumpster's of the same construction of the building. But looking at the elevations, is there, and thanks, Mr. Beam, because I don't usually look at these, I kind of allow the engineer to do this, but since their drawings were smudged, I'm doing it. And the north part of the property, so the northeast section of the property, you've actually got it higher than the neighbor's property. So, what,
This
is that okay, that's the existing parking lot. Okay, so when those trees are remaining, is there any way that, okay, so that's all existing though, isn't it?
And I'd probably wanna try to put a drain in that side too, and run water away from that back.
I don't know. Can one of you guys come up here, or both of you? what I'm looking at is this line, and this line, and you're 739 and 738.
Yeah,
So this
water
is,
sits right here right now.
Okay.
On that edge, so I would wanna put a drain here that runs water back, away from.
okay. Well, if you could just kind of make it a little swale, so you can do it through piping or just make a swale, just kind of, I don't know how you do it, but you got, you know, because you gotta go through here, you know, somehow indicate that you're gonna take this water and go from here, because this is existing, so I don't really.
So you wanna,
I don't know
you wanna take
how
water,
you do it, but
water diversion, not just from the south, but water diversion from the south, and hope that becomes.
That's the northeast.
west or northeast.
Yeah.
Here and here. like
Yeah.
Some kind of tile. some
Yeah,
kind of tile
so this,
on both
yeah,
sides.
but this one's existing, so do you have enough room to put something right here
Yeah.
on the edge?
Yep. We'll get something.
If it's
You know,
existing though, it'd be.
And then, I don't know, maybe you could just lower the elevation of this so it just flows over top of it. So if you lower this, and then you have your dumpster at just a little higher elevation, so your approach to it. I don't know, kind of, you guys can figure it out. I mean, you could actually make a D10, you know, little swale in your asphalt.
Right. Just
You know, 'cause it does, yeah, so you don't need much, because you're only 0.4 and, so you're only 0.6, so I don't know what that, yeah, is that inches? That is inches. So, it's not inches, it's point, yeah, so it's 0.6, so 7 is 8 inches? Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so then if we could kind of address that on the drawing too?
All right.
Okay. Okay, I'm done.
And so it's basically it's the whole water diversion plan.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So you've been taking notes, right, Chad?
Yes.
Okay.
I just, yeah, refreshing, so I have, where's the HVAC?
What's that?
So I have, where's the HVAC? Where's the water wall, the water diversion, the floodplain and wetlands, distance to the bank, the river bank,
Yeah,
and then one drawing package, but we also wanna make sure that one drawing package has the annotations for the finished materials and landscape.
yeah. So when we get those drawings, what we want is one drawing for the village record and one drawing for the building inspector, and you should probably have one drawing too.
That's easy.
Okay, all right. Okay, so have you got everything?
Oh, sure.
We are efficient, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So, if, so we can't just approve because we have conditions. So, you want to entertain the fact that we approve with conditions? I don't see that we really need to bring them back. These are fairly minor things, or do you want them to come back with a revised drawing?
Are we being consistent?
Yes.
And I know we've done that before, given approval, then you tie it into pending receiving completed drawings, you know, so you're not just winging it.
Well, it's what we did for the Duncan property, but it just took us a long time to get as close as we are here. So, I mean, there's a lot of little things to be done here. It's up to you guys.
I got a question for you, Ben.
Yeah.
A comment. Back in February, Derek and I met, and we talked about showing the floodplain, how close it's gonna be to the floodplain and all of that kind of thing, and then also, he needed a soil erosion permit, so he understood that.
Mhm.
Before we issue a building permit, those items are addressed.
Mhm.
That's kind of just like the water and sewer taps, just like, having all the drawings available, showing all the foundation and the wall section and the trusses or whatever he's gonna use. Those are all one of the building permit requirements anyway, so.
How close are you to having those drawings?
Pretty close. Very close.
So now ultimately, do you wanna follow up on it or not?
Well, we have to follow up because everything would have to be submitted before, so if we approve with contingency, everything has to be filed before the contingency is lifted. So, and then all the fees have to be paid, but that's, you know, I mean, that's a contingency too, but that's not saying that you can't get an approval. The fees just have to be paid before you get a certificate of occupancy, so that's just standard.
Okay.
So, that right, Dennis? Becky? I mean,
That's fine.
Water, sewer taps, all that would have to be paid.
water and
Issuing.
sewer taps, you're not getting a water and sewer tap, are you? You're just extending your lines.
Existing one, yeah.
Or whatever we need to use, you know, all those items had to be addressed.
Yeah.
If it was already there, then we wouldn't need it.
Right.
If it was located in the floodplain, it had to be removed from the floodplain. Or show that it's not in the floodplain.
Okay, so let's go over our conditions. Okay, so what are the conditions again? If,
Well, you have to have a complete set of drawings included, and
Yes.
this is what they need to include.
yeah, okay,
The location of the HVAC.
Yep.
This side. The dimensions from the back of the building to or from the north and south corner of the building to the creek.
the bank line.
Yes, bank of the creek, yeah, sorry.
Yep.
Thanks, John.
Landscaping to be differentiated what it is, what's new and what's existing. The floodplain, and address the, what'd you call that?
Water diversion plan.
Diversion plan,
Good choice of words.
that's what I have.
I only had, along with annotating the landscape would be the exterior materials, colors materials.
Oh, yeah.
They would put that even on the elevation, I said if you just annotate what's on the elevation, this is brick, this is siding, this is.
Oh, well, that's kinda on this drawing, so they really just gotta take this drawing, which was submitted, and just submit that drawing with the other ones.
It wasn't the
That's-
newest
The
one.
last page,
Yeah,
so
that
that page should be submitted with,
added to that one.
yeah, to the new drawing, so what we have right now is two sets of drawings.
You gotta make it one.
We wanna make it one, but then, so you're gonna take this, kinda show that little wraparound that you're gonna do, whatever length you're gonna do it, or whoever, what dimension, and then fine tune this drawing with the required stuff on it, and then put those two together and give us 2 copies of that.
3 copies.
3 copies?
What you just said.
Well, one's
Should
theirs.
be 3, right.
Yeah. So we usually sign once you do 3, we usually sign like approvals, so then that way I can sign the drawing. Then you have okay. So after hearing the conditions, what do you think? Okay, so let me ask this. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Is the water diversion similar to something like that you guys would be handling with,
The engineer?
No, with the property prior, Duncan.
Duncan.
Yes. So that was a big one.
And this is a minor, so that's,
Exactly, well.
these are all minor.
They're,
You got one.
Their property was new, you're an existing site. Their property, their water, unlike yours kind of drains to the creek, their property drained to the neighbors. So theirs was a bigger drainage issue because they were putting a 5,000 square foot building and I don't know how many square foot of asphalt, but all that water runoff was gonna go to the adjacent property or out into the street. So your property really isn't increasing your water runoff by very much, because the only thing you're increasing is a little bit of asphalt. And some of the roadway that you're putting in is gonna be gravel, so there's not much change in your site, so your water runoff is really an improvement over what's existing on the northeast, and on the south, I'm not sure if that's an improvement, or, I think you already have something there in place, don't you?
On the south, there's a ditch along there that
Yeah,
runs back.
okay, so you got something, so you're actually not, you're just so the one is an improvement and the other one is you're just redirecting it in a different way. Or not redirecting it, but yes, so directing it in a different fashion, but you're already handling it in some fashion now. Dennis?
Yeah, I got a question. Darren, how's it gonna work out when you take the old building down? Are you just gonna, I know we're gonna have to remove the footings, have an open hole inspection for that. Are you just gonna fill in with gravel, or are you gonna
That'd
pave
be
that?
asphalt, yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be asphalt later on? Okay.
Or you're gonna asphalt that?
Where the old building is,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, cause that's the parking lot.
That'd be
for
the
new
parking.
building.
Oh, okay, so it's gonna be no big deal to extend that maneuvering section of your parking area.
Right, no, yeah, because that's gonna be a new part of the parking lot, so, yeah, the old part, we're gonna rip some of the old part out and make that grass.
Have to make sure the fill is compacted good before we asphalt and.
Yeah,
Well, there's actually a demolition permit, isn't there, Dennis?
Well, the demolition permit, we basically look at the footings that are gone, and then that it's level and graded, but now he's gonna create a parking lot out of it, so now, different story, probably have to do some testing of the soil, make sure you have 95% compaction, and then put your asphalt down.
So when do you guys wanna start building?
As soon as possible.
Why they ask that question?
yes,
You're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
as soon as we're approved, I guess.
As soon as we're approved, we're,
So what's the floodplain thing? Is there any chance that's standing in the way?
No, there's no floodplain.
Okay.
I mean, okay, so there's a,
To the
there's,
west.
there's
To the
a,
west, but yeah, how far away?
It's-
okay,
it's not
so it's a
it's not a
floodplain, so it's a floodplain, so, yeah, it's a floodplain, but it's not a wetland, so.
That's not right.
Let me rephrase that, so floodplain but not. And that bank is, so the elevations aren't on here for the creek. So, nor is there a dimension back to the creek, but you own both sides of the creek, correct? So, and we're not changing any of those elevations.
Well, that's what I'm looking at and then we used to they call it Krause's Pond. Kids love to fish there when they were little.
We'll still need to look at a FEMA flood map, which Darren and I kind of already talked about, where that floodplain is at in relationship to the new building.
Yeah.
Similar to the dentist office.
Yeah,
we had one.
you gave me that picture, the aerial picture, and it showed where that is.
Right. You guys haven't talked, yeah, I'd like to see that. Yeah,
So we kind of knew the question would come up between the two properties, but there really isn't much, there's quite a bit of difference. Even though the sites are about the same size, the water runoff is a much bigger deal with the other property.
that's kind of what I was leaning towards.
Oh, and I'm glad you brought
But
it
it's-
up,
it's
because
an issue, but
it really should be addressed.
It's a minor compared,
Correct.
and you were able to handle that.
Well, you guys handled it, you just addressed it.
Yes.
Well, I think the parts of it are all within Dennis's building review plan. plan anyways, building,
Pretty much.
So, the other one, the first one about the one pad and then the let's say material, then plans is all just simple documentation. I can go with conditional.
Christie,
Yeah.
we'll probably catch some flack.
Well, no, you said we did conditional on the other one too. It's just what it took to get there. The level of completeness was there much quicker and understanding of it than the other one. You still had conditions.
Okay, I concur.
And these conditions are even less riskier.
Right.
So is that you making the motion, Chris?
Yeah.
And seconded.
Okay, cool. Better off.
Wow. Okay. I had something I wanted to say to the audience, but I forgot. I lost it. Okay, so we made the motion, second motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we need some drawings. Once we have the drawings, you can, hold paperwork for Dennis,
Took 3 sets.
right? Congratulations.
Thank you. Have you worked with CNA as far as tear down? I mean, I guess I talked to Freddie, had him come take a look at it, but he hasn't yet looked at it. but-
CNA,
Yeah, I mean, they're also,
yeah.
That's
Good
good
job.
time.
yeah.
Okay.
They've done a lot of stuff at the elevator.
Yeah,
You know, they're always, whenever the elevator tears something down, they either do it or Chris will do it.
yeah.
They'll come in and you'll be there at 8 o'clock and go away for lunch and come back at 4 and you won't have a building.
It's good.
That's what we want.
The application. What's
After,
the,
Yeah, she's got to kind of write
say
it.
you have to,
when I type up the conditions and
Yeah.
stuff, then I'll get Ben and across those signs.
So the conditional thing, what they were talking about is the conditions will be typed up on the application. Need you to come in, Doc, sign 3 copies, I'll sign 3 copies, you get one, Dennis will get one, and the office gets one. So, and then bring the drawings with you when you got that, and we'll kind of initial the drawings too. Okay. So, again, when we look at stuff, when we're, Village of Armada very rarely gets new construction, as everybody knows. But when you do, you're kind of excited because you like to see new and improved things in town. And both the Duncan and Kraus properties are going to be a nice improvement. But it's even though you like to see the nice stuff, you need to protect the neighbors. That's why it's nice to have Mr. Beam in here to kind of voice his concerns, which in turn made us catch something else that, and it's not always just about the applicant, it's also about the neighboring communities or the neighboring properties of kind of what works and what doesn't work, and that's really what the planning commission kind of does. And it's really nice when the applicants kind of proceed with stuff on a timely basis, so. Okay, so chair report, public comment, anything from the public? So one thing that we do that's different than most planning commissions, that you kind of saw, we allow the applicant and the audience to be part of our meetings. Some of the places that you go, there is no audience or applicant participation. I've been to other planning commission meetings, and the applicant does not even get to speak once the request is under consideration. So the applicant will be asked questions. Once those questions are answered, that's the end of the applicant's involvement in the discussion. In Armada, we welcome the continued discussion because I think it furthers both causes, or we think it furthers both causes, our cause and the applicants, to proceed to a desired result. With that, that's my chair report. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
What time? You sent me a copy of that.
8:35.
Yeah.
What do you want to send to?
Yep.
Email?
If you want to email to the village,
Any word on,
basically showing where the overlay of the building is going to be in relationship to that flood elevation. I'm guessing that's
Other way.
the way. Because I know we were kind of talking about it back together, we kind of looked at the flood map, but I just really tell the scale.